Tour guides don't just show a house. We guide you through a feeling. Hey, it's Finny Commit. I'm back with another episode of Committee Creates Season 2. Welcome to Episode 8. It is our final first round matchup. We're ending the first round with pure storytelling magic. I just can't believe that we're already at the end of the first round. Like, we've seen social awareness builds, cat pun paradises, mythical libraries, plushy spas, bee-themed houses, cozy grandparent havens, writers' retreats, void homes. The list goes on. Today's final matchup perfectly represents what this contest is all about. Builders who just don't create spaces, but entire worlds with characters, histories, and stories that make you want to explore every single corner. Lady Satori brings us Soulbriar Hollow, the mysterious abandoned home of Ira the Herbalist with a deep haunting lore, while Olivia Darling has created Elderwood Wilds, a cozy cottage discovered and restored by a Kitsu Fae named Bodhi. Both builds have rich backstories that'll give you absolute chills. This is it for our first round matchups. Before we dive into these story-rich builds, tell me, how has Committee Creates changed your building style? Have you learned anything new? What have you learned from watching all these incredible creators? I want to know, let me know in the comments, like, what's something that has inspired you that you've recreated on your own plot? Before we get started, let me introduce Lady Satori. She goes by Lola. She's been playing Palia for 2 years and has ADHD. She loves creative stuff, whether it's in real life or in game, and she's pretty used to glitching, so she thought a vanilla build contest would be a great challenge. This is also her first time joining an event like this, but here's what makes her special. She shows incredible determination to participate despite challenges, and her gratitude is so genuine. She says, "Thank you so much for organizing this. I'm very excited to see the other builds too." And that's truly been my experience with everybody who's participated in Committee Creates. Not only is the challenge itself fun, but there's been so much camaraderie between everybody. Now, her build Soulbriar Hollow has some of the most elaborate lore I've ever encountered. Are you ready for this story? Perched in a golden field where orange juniper trees lean toward the sea, Soulbriar Hollow was once home to Ira Velen, a gifted herbalist and alchemist. Exiled from her village for unnatural practices, she came here alone, choosing isolation over silence. Her garden grew wild with healing herbs, rare roots, and secrets that could soothe or kill. This isn't just a build, it's a complete fantasy novel. For this one here, we're gonna go no voice. I'm gonna be reading her chat in real time, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see this. Every single one of the plots that we've seen so far has been fantastic, and I'm pretty sure that this one will totally blow you all away. So, Lady Satori, how are you doing today? I'm super good, just excited to be here first time. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. All right, well, Lady Satori, you are my tour guide. Where are we going? You type and I'll read. Oh, look at that entrance. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. The landscapes, like, they really have shaped the way that we've decorated our plot, and we got some nice little entrance here. So you lead the way, lady. I will follow you. You tell me everything you want me to know, and I'll read it out. I'll just kind of point out some details as well. Oh, I love this. This is a really excellent use of terracore, just kind of decorating everything, putting everything in place. We got little choppas hiding out. Nice little bridge. I haven't seen anybody do this. Since it's the house of a herbalist, I made the entrance natural. I love that. I absolutely love that. I have never seen anybody do this kind of an intro before, and that is so creative. That is so creative. Everybody has kind of done bridges and everything, but koi pond, but this is like literally actual bridge, and that is so fantastic. That is so fantastic. We'll go forward just a little bit and just take another. On left and right are little sitting areas to relax in the sun. Excellent. Oh, excellent. Take a little bit of a pan around. So what I've been doing is I have been checking out the shell. That's the main part of the tour. And we're gonna go check this out. We'll check around the outside of the house, and we'll go check out the other stuff here too. But this is really cool. I haven't seen too many people decorate the mossy rug. Go in first and let it flash you. All right, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I've seen a lot of people use the mossy floor as water. Some people kind of kept it green, but I like that you colored her. That's really cool. And you got the frogs. Oh, that is so cute, using the plates as lily pads. That is adorable. All All right, so let's go check out the inside of Lady Satori's plot. Ooh, yes, yes. Oh man, this is beautiful. Look at all that color. Oh, that's so cool. I love the lighting. I love the lighting. Even given the time that we're showing up here, man, Palia just does lighting so well, doesn't it? It does lighting so well. That is so, so gorgeous. You know, one of the fun things about this challenge, this contest, is the fact that everybody is working off of the same template. So as we go through each house, you're gonna have something completely different. And I'm always of the notion, you know, when people decorate, I wonder how it looks in epic graphics because I play on low. Oh, and let me tell you, lady, you absolutely delivered. This is so beautiful. It looks so good. It looks so good. Yeah, absolutely. She says, I'm happy to hear. I'm just, one of the fun things that I get to do with these tours is when people watch the videos on my channel, they're thinking, hey, I get to get inspiration, I get to get entertained, but really I'm the one who's entertained. I'm just like, I get to have a little show every time I go on these tours. There's a lot of really cool details I want to make sure that I capture. All right, so we're gonna go this direction here, and feel free to point out any details, lady, if I miss anything. I'll kind of call it out as I see it, but if there's something that you want me to particularly point out details, just let me know and I'll call it out. I love the timer as sort of a grandfather clock too. Everything is so wonderfully decorated and strategically placed. We ignored the stairs now and moved to the kitchen. Okay, so let's keep our camera low and take a look at this super cozy kitchen. Oh my word. Beautiful, beautiful. This is totally an herbalist kitchen. And what I love about this in particular is the fact that even though we are in the daytime, the lighting of this plot and your house just totally captures it. And I know that you play on low, as you mentioned, but the fact that you've pulled off all of this beautiful light work, you're gonna be super blown away just watching this. The detail really is fantastic. Is it my, let's see. So I'm just checking out like all the details of the kitchen too, and man, it's just it's a lovely, I really need to see it later. Yeah, totally. So we're gonna go into this bathroom area. Let's read this sign real quick. Brewed a calming soak with chamomile, rosemary, and a dash of serpent. Do mind the wiggle. Aw, that's adorable. Oh, wow. This is probably one of the most coziest bathrooms I've ever seen. You got double sinks, you got mirrors, you got drapery. So one of the things, I probably mentioned this, but oh, wow, that is so cool. You know, I mean, if you're gonna go all out, you might as well have a figurehead above your bathroom. Like, that is pretty awesome. So one of the things I was gonna mention was, you know, too often people, they gravitate towards having large rooms, and one of the things particularly about this shell challenge was I wanted to limit the space. In doing so, I think it gives people a lot of boundaries, I guess, to be creative. You can do so much with a smaller space, like very lived in and very cozy. I know I love to kind of point this out. We always love a game of hide the toilet in Palia. This is very creative because you have curtains for privacy. That's amazing. Let's get a different look at the kitchen. I don't like when they stand free. Yeah, right? It kind of makes you feel a little weird. Makes you feel weird. Getting another look at the kitchen. Well, Lady Satori, I'm still following you. Are we heading outside? Oh, we go up the stairs now to the little bedroom. Okay, well, let's go up the stairs. These are some really tight stairs. It's really pointing out the alchemist herbalist vibe. Wow. I mean, you know, tell me your cluttercore without telling me your cluttercore. You know, there's a shell challenge. You have limited space to work in, and you use every bit of that space. You got beds, you got lighting, you got a whole treasure chest up here. I always like to joke, but the reality of it is, if you gotta be told where to go, you might be a cluttercore. But the decorations up here are fantastic. Like, you got a lot of trinkets and curios and studies. Her little hidden attic to search for unknown things and treasures. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so now we're gonna go outside. Oh, this is beautiful. What a beautiful scene to walk out on. Like lakeside property. Do a little spin around back here. Every corner of this plot is decorated. As far as like the shell goes, we got lots of decoration. Take a look at the patio. Making really good use of the patio. You got a nice little seating area with tea and snack, potato pods. and then everything here is just so full. Like, I feel like you totally captured the herbalist vibe. You got frogs on standby. That view though is really awesome. You got another little sign there. We'll read that in just a second. Just taking in all the sights. The theme made it really hard for me not to glitch. Yeah, I know that was a big point of contention for many people, and you know, I think that it really worked out in everybody's favor. Warning: giant bee snacking on pumpkin. Don't startle it. This bee's idea of a snack is your entire pumpkin. No takebacks. Let's go check that out. Oh my gosh, that is a giant bee snacking on a pumpkin. That is so cute. That is absolutely so cute. All right, it's time to get the deets. I'm here with Lady Satori. You know, after every tour, I like to get to know people a little bit better. Every one of the people that have put up their plots for Commitee Creates Season 2 kind of gives you a little bit of perspective on who they are, because one of the things that really has made tours special compared to your typical tour board tour is that there's a real human being behind this. It's not just something that came out of nothing. Lady Satori woke up one day and created this masterpiece, sets everything apart. Lady Satori, one of my first questions, this is one of those things I think that's really fascinating too. Lady Satori, her first language isn't English. So we have people from all over the world that are participating, and I absolutely love that. My first question is, where do you get your inspiration? Oh, actually everywhere. Mostly I'm inspired by films or games. That is fantastic. So I guess my next question is gonna be, through this contest, what's been one thing that you've learned about yourself? My frustration tolerance is not quite high, but I think the most important thing I really learned is that you can't compare to others. I think that's a fantastic thing to point out, because one of the things that I always like to emphasize is, and this is actually something that I learned along the way as a content creator, is yeah, you really can't compare yourself to others. You can only really compare yourself to yourself. That's how you actually grow. Otherwise, it's very easy to feel like an imposter or feel small. I think that's really good advice. It just kills inspiration and creativity too. That's exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My last question, why should people vote for your plot? They should vote for it because they like it. I don't want to name reasons why my plot is worth it. Everyone decides on their own to keep it fair. That's a fantastic answer. Lady Satori, I want to thank you on behalf of everybody at the committee, everybody that's watching right now, for showing us your wonderful plot. Thank you so much too for this opportunity. You are very, very welcome. Let's meet Olivia Darling. She's been playing Palia since it released on Switch, then moved to PlayStation when it launched there. She enjoys decorating, group hunting, and tasks, and she collects plushies both in-game and in real life. How perfect is that for a Palia player? Her build, Elderwood Wild, also has an amazing story. It's a cozy cottage with cluttercore elements hidden away in the wilderness of Elderwood. But here's the magical part. It was discovered by a Kitsu Fae named Bodhi, who was traveling through the woods looking for giant mushroom seeds. After discovering this hidden cottage, Bodhi restored it and now constantly drags his partner Ash there to rest and relax in their own little hideaway in the wilds. I love how Olivia has created not just a build, but characters with relationships and motivations. Now let's discover Bodhi and Ash's secret hideaway. As we tour this cozy cottage in the Elderwood wilderness, imagine the joy of stumbling upon this hidden gem while searching for mushroom seeds. I'm here with Olivia Darling, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I am just like doing a little pan around, just kind of taking everything in, and you know, what's been fascinating to me is like everyone's working off of the same shell, but everyone's doing it so differently, and it's fascinating to me. But you know, you're my tour guide where we're going. I'll follow you.
Okay, well first we're gonna just go right into it.
Nice.
Start looking through this this little build that I did here. When you walk up to it, first thing you notice is this outside with the flowers and the big mushrooms. And this was these mushrooms were kind of a starting point for me, besides the shell.
Yeah.
So the shell idea was something that, you know, obviously this was part of the challenge that you gave us. And I took that and I was like, okay, what can I do with this shell? How do I do this? One of the things that I do is I kind of build a story around my builds.
I love it.
I'm a writer, and so I love to create stories and everything. And in this story, I have two original characters that are kind of part of it. And one of them was looking for the seeds for these really big mushrooms. And that's kind of where this build started.
Ooh, nice. I also love just like coming right up to it, the sight line of seeing that lantern like right through the window. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. Yep. Like it. Okay, so we're gonna just go inside.
Ooh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so this has got some witchy cottage vibes. That's definitely an aesthetic that I really enjoy. You can see it's got some natural elements in here, as well as the actual build, the furniture itself. And so within this home, basically the story with my two OCs, my two original characters, is the character that was looking for the seeds came across this building, and it was basically run down, falling apart, and they fell in love with it.
Oh.
So they brought their partner back here. Their partner is basically a builder, a carpenter, and so together they have rebuilt this house for themselves.
Oh, I love that.
And so the elements within each of these rooms is going to basically be the two of them kind of coming together to make this place a home.
Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you.
It's lovely to kind of see like a lot of the different color applications, you know, in Palia, and in your case, right, using the landscape, the wallpaper choices, the lighting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, to me, it's just fascinating. I love seeing all the different sight lines, and this particular shell challenge is unique in a way that everybody has the same framework that they're working off of, but everybody is doing it so differently. And I think that's cool. I think that's turned out to be really interesting to see how, you know, as a viewer on the other end of the screen, you can say, hey, everybody had the same building blocks, but they did it in so different ways. And yeah, I like your story behind it too, where you can tell a story just from the different elements within Palia. I like this bathroom. It's a nice bathroom.
Thank you. Yes. So this is the one room that one of the characters asked that he got complete control over. So he is definitely somebody who likes things very neat and tidy and clean, and that is kind of how this bathroom looks.
Nice.
With all these pieces, they're the I can't remember what the color is. It's the new
alabaster.
Alabaster. Yeah, that's it. And so that's pretty much everything that's in here is turned into that color or modded with that color. You can see some of the other touches around here, the little log over here with the plant, the log with the mushrooms over in the corner. Those are all elements that his partner Bodhi put in here. Bodhi is the one that went looking for the mushrooms, and he's the one that is very related or connected to nature. And so all these little elements on the floor are from him, but everything else is definitely Ash. So
I really like that. I really like that storytelling that you added to it. And, you know, you definitely understood the assignment. Just kind of like, it's fascinating to me how people use Palia to tell a story, or they use the design language to convey different concepts and cultures and religions and lots of different things. And I think that it's a form of art, essentially, where you can look around. And one of the things I like to point out, and I'm sure people are going to think I'm sounding like a broken record, but I'll say it again. The most important thing to like getting these plot tours is the person on the other end of the screen, you, obviously. Mm-hmm. You're telling a story through Palia, and, you know, if people were to look at this on the tour board, they wouldn't really get that context without hearing your side of it. They would be like, oh, this is a nice house. But knowing what you told me just now, I can see those little elements where you have two different design styles that are almost competing with each other, but in a complementary way, such that, like, you know, that bathroom, right? You have these very kind of like sterile almost design styles. Like it's very organized, it's very clean, and then you have little pops of just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna put this little plant in this corner and you can't say anything about it. So I like that. Right. I like that context that you gave me. That's really cool.
Nice. That's exactly what I was going for. So I'm glad that came across. And you're right. It's difficult when you build these things with, some people build it because they are creating it just to create it, just to have like these, really amazing builds and everything. And for me, anytime I do a build, it has to have some kind of story with it.
I love that.
This is my 8th plot, and I have 3 plots that are connected to these original characters. And so for me, that's what building in Palia is about, is creating that story, telling that story. But of course, it's hard to tell that story without this kind of experience where I'm able to kind of show why I built this the way that I built it. So
that's cool. Yeah, and that's kind of that's my favorite thing to do, is to showcase that and to highlight and bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go check out the back patio.
Okay, this is Chaos back here. So this is all Bodhi. So this is all just the guy that has the connection to nature. He just kind of put everything out here. He's also the cook, and so he's put a bunch of food out here for them to enjoy, to come out here, relax, be in nature, because that's what he loves the most.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I love that application. Definitely, if those of you who live with a creative know exactly what's up. Not necessarily chaos as you describe it, but it's just, you're like, oh, this is definitely made by a creative. Like there's colors, there's lots of different things that just, they draw you in, and it feels very, very creative. Just kind of capturing all the different angles here. But I like that you have, kind of getting back to the dueling styles almost of the clean versus the clutter, or the eclectic, or it's that to me, like, to kind of look at those different elements it's fascinating. It's fascinating, especially just looking at the technical execution of the design too. You can tell that there's lots of, I don't know. I just like to point out that when I'm touring these homes, there's intention, basically, when it comes to like how these things are done and how things are placed. It's not just kind of like plop and it's done. There's
right, and that's right. And to be fair, that's the way that I write is basically I start with 2 names, a location, and a sentence.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then I just start writing and see what happens and see where these characters take me. And when I do these builds, one of the things that that you'll see in any of the builds that I do is the I don't use glitching. I was a Switch player originally. I'm on PlayStation now, but so on Switch we couldn't glitch. We couldn't do any of that kind of stuff. And so I had to find other ways to build things that I felt like, okay, these are ways for people to connect with my plot, kind of thing. And so a lot of my builds are going to be a little bit more simplistic, I guess, maybe is a good word for it.
Yeah, that's a hard word to use, just because simplistic. I personally, like, I know what you're saying. I personally stay away from simple because it just, in my mind, sometimes like it minimizes it, but it's not simple as in like there's a lot. I'm like, I know that it's elegant is probably a better word. Just because
that's a good word to use, I think. Yeah,
because it's not simple. There's a technical implementation to it. There's a lot of like, if you were to look in between the lines, like I would just kind of visualize, you could see guidelines and stuff, like invisible guidelines on how everything is aligned and placed and balanced and stuff. But on the surface, you're just like, this looks so clean.
Yeah, and I think for me, when I do start these builds, sometimes it is kind of just plopping things down, and then I'm like, okay, so how can I change this so that it maybe tells a little bit more of the story? So, for example, this little desk that you're standing next to over here in the corner.
Yeah.
I just put I love this table. I think this is the Kill 'em In table or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of put it over here. I was like, this will be a good corner. And all it was at first was the desk. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to put the Moonstruck book on there.
There you go.
Now what else can I put on here? And so I just kept building out this corner, and it became basically the area where Bodhi, the one that loves to be in nature, this is where he works and creates potions and apothecary stuff and everything. And so you can see this is a little bit more of a cluttered area. This is a lot of little bitty things all over the desk. You have these little pictures above the window that are, just really cute and sweet and just a little piece of this corner. But then you look at the rest of this room, and yes, there is a lot of the natural pieces to it, the big bushes, a lot of plants around it, but the rest of the room is pretty clean. It's pretty straightforward. You got your bookshelf, you got your wardrobe, a table with a lamp, that kind of thing. It's very clean.
Yeah.
And so just basically putting one piece down and building on it is kind of how I do these builds. And so you guys gave me that foundation with the shell.
You're like, oh yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. No, that's fantastic. One of the things I mentioned earlier was that, to me, probably one of the most important things about these tours is getting to know the people that are on the other end of the screen. You lose a lot of that context when you're going through the tour board, and it's kind of one of the things that I really enjoy doing is just to get to know the other person a little bit better. Just kind of walk us through a little bit about like where your inspiration came from for this particular contest.
Basically, like I said, y'all gave me the foundation with the shell, and I just had to kind of add a little bit more to it. So when I started building this, basically I started the buildings, and you have to build them, and they take like 10 minutes or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into Elderwoods and just kind of wander around. And so I'm out there, and it's the right around the time that they do the Pixie Bounce. And so I'm like, okay, I'm out there. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if Bodhi was out here looking for mushrooms and looking for seeds to put on this property that he just found, that he knows that Ash is back there building on. And it just popped into my head like that, literally.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
That's kind of where that foundation started. And so I'm like, okay, I first of all, I love the new Elderwood area, the zone. I love the furniture that comes with it, the seeds that are coming with it, all the plants and everything. And so that was an inspiration as well. And so I was like, okay, how can I meld these together and create the space to share with other people? And so that's pretty much how it started. And then once that started, of course, my mind just starts going, and I get the actual buildings done, and then I start on the outside, and I'm like, okay, what do I want my colors to be? And so it's just basically going through that process of what would my characters pick? How would they arrange this? How would I meld their two kind of styles together, their senses together? And that's pretty much where it came from.
That's awesome. I think there are a lot of Palia builds out there that the first time that you see it, and it doesn't matter like how talented of a builder you are, imposter syndrome is real. And, I think that it's really important to me anyways, to let people know that there's a process to this. Like you mentioned earlier, right? You started out with a couple of characters, and you started out with a sentence, and then you kind of iterated from there. You start with like a framework, or you start with like a corner, and you just kind of start adding things to it and taking away until it kind of culminates into the vision that you have. And I think that like that kind of process, a lot of people wonder, like, how do I get started? How do I even come up to the caliber of this? And I like to remind people, like, it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it can take people, like I have whole month challenges, and it takes people 3 weeks to come up with the concept. and then like 3 days to execute. So I mean, everybody has a different process, but in your particular case, you start with characters. I work in IT, and one of the things in IT when it comes to web design or application design is a term called user experience. The connection that I'm making to this is like, what you created is you created personas. Companies spend lots of money to identify these types of people that will visit a website or they'll use an application, and they use those persona definitions as a way to justify different designs. And the reason why that's interesting to me is how you apply that to Palia, because in your design, it's not Olivia that's designing, it's Bodhi that's designing. That to me is really fascinating, because like you're thinking as you're placing things down, it's like, what would Bodhi do? How would Bodhi react to this corner? Would he like it or would he hate it? And then you kind of switch gears into the other character. It's like, well, how does the flow of this room come together? So it's like, Ash kind of has a lot of structure of like the design, but at the same time, it's like you have communicated that there's like a yin and a yang, so to speak, of these two personas that some cases you'll have more of Ash in one space and more of Bodhi in one space. Tell me kind of a little bit about these two characters. Like, where did they come from? Like, what's their bio?
Well, these are some original characters that I had started working on probably almost 10 years ago now.
Nice.
They were actually some side characters in a novel that I was working on at the time. And I fell in love with these two side characters more so than the main characters.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, okay, I've got to, at some point in my life, write their story. And basically, they're just two people who have met and they've connected, and they have found that they are better together. And so one of the builds that I did, it's been a long time ago, was an inn, a library inn. It was when we got the grand harvest house,
yes,
and the 2 stories and everything. So I made that into like a library, but also an inn. Mm-hmm. And these characters basically help my character run that inn.
Awesome.
Bodhi cooks and takes care of the grounds and the plants and all that other stuff. And then Ash helps with the library and upkeeps and helps, build the rooms and stuff like that. And so that's where they kind of came into it. And then I had another plot that I was like, okay, they need their own space. Mm-hmm. And it's a plot that has 2 very distinctive areas. One is very much Ash, one is very much Bodhi. And so they've just kind of been wandering around in Palia with me this whole time that I've been playing and building and creating. And so I'm like, okay, is this how I'm going to get them out into the world? Because I love these characters a lot. And so I needed to have a way to have their connection and their story come out, even if it was just to myself, if it's just me going back to my plots and kind of visiting them and going into the different areas and everything like that. And so that's kind of where that came from, where they were created a long time ago, but I have kind of breathed life back into them.
That's awesome.
To have them be a part of this journey in Palia.
And, I am going to sound like a broken record again, but I just think that's so cool to be able to hear that story, that context, because otherwise, people just kind of come onto the spot and be like, oh, that's pretty. And then that's it. That's all you get out of it. But to kind of hear that you have 2 different personas that you're effectively operating through, that's a really cool thing. Well, my last question is arguably the hardest. As this is a contest, why should people vote for your plot?
Ooh, that is a difficult question, because I've been in your community for a while now, and I've seen some of the amazing things that people have created and built. And I think one of the things that came across to me, especially this morning, in some of the posts that I was reading about advice for new tour guides, which this is the first time I've toured with you, and so this is my very first experience, and I was very nervous. And just one of the things that kept coming out in that advice was, be yourself, show your plot, know that you've done good work, basically. And I think people should vote for this because I do have a story to tell. And I feel like I have told that story in this build. I feel like I have created a home, a cozy space, a story for these two characters to kind of have that life together. And so I think that's the reason that I love this build so much.
You had a goal in mind, mission accomplished, right? And that's it. Thank you so much for participating in this. Okay, can we just take a moment here to appreciate the storytelling level here? Lady Satori created a complete mystery with Ira and the exiled herbalist, her loyal dog Jin, dangerous alchemy, and that haunting question, where did she go? While Olivia gave us a discovery story with Bodhi, the Kitsufei, his partner Ash, and their secret hideaway in the Elderwood Wilderness. Both builders proved that Palia isn't just about decoration, it's about world building. Both builds prove the best Palia creations tell complete stories, but only one of them can advance to face the other first round winners. Now, it's your turn. The Google voting form is live right now for the very final first round vote. You have until Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Central Time to cast your vote, and that is a wrap up on all first round matchup. Here's what I want you to do right now. Don't forget, if you haven't liked this video, go ahead and do so, but I want you to subscribe to the channel because the second round begins very soon, where our winners face off in even more intense battles. The competition is going to get very real very fast, so you don't want to miss a episode. Make sure to join our Discord if you haven't already. We have so many talented builders, and the community support has been incredible throughout this entire first round. I will see you next time as we begin the second round of Commitee Creates Season 2. Thank you so much for making the first round absolutely magical. Remember, every story you build matters. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.